Hello, beautiful people. It is such a lovely day here at the meeting place of heaven and earth. There's birds singing a song all around me and lovely, lovely nature all around. God and Goddess, thank you so much for this day. Thank you so much for the gathering that we just had and all the people that were able to join us, all of the safe traveling that they participated in, and all of the great seeds that were planted, the fellowship, the teachings, and even at the 8-8 event. Thank you so much for all the people that came and stuck out through the heat and spent the evening with us. It was such a great time. Thank you for the great times that we can have even in this contested world. Thank you that heaven is here now for us, those with eyes to see. Thank you that we have the opportunity to be hands and feet of Christ in this world and really shine our lights in the darkness. Help us to do that with love and kindness in our hearts. And please have a special all of the people of the world today and those that are in need. Help hands and feet of mercy find them and help them in whatever they need. In the name of Elohim I pray. Amen. On the Nasrian calendar today, it is the third day of the week, which means it is Family Day. There we go. The noontime peace contemplation is our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent. Send to all your angel of peace. To my family and friends, send your angel of love. As I've mentioned before, as we read in the Megillah as well, obviously, it's not something that I'm just coming up with, but all beings are the result, all souls are the result of that dance with Lord and Lady Christ, our ultimate mother and father, and therefore they're all our brothers and sisters, and regardless of what bodies they're in. Like this little bird that is in the tree above me is also a living soul, and it is on its way on the golden ladder as well. There's obviously different manifestations of that in different worlds around us, right? The animal world, all of these different animals being on different levels of the ladder, just like us. So yes, may we be loving and show them love and show the world a different way. Cool. So this weekend, hey, Contemplative Rose, I am excited to hear about your gathering. Thank you. I'm excited to share about it. So as many of you know, 8-8 just happened, Lionsgate, and well, realistically, one of the discussions that we had during this gathering was the idea of Lionsgate actually being when the sun enters Leo and not necessarily on this specific date. But 8-8 is kind of like Christmas on Mount Shasta. There was like so many people up at the top of Mount Shasta. There's actually a rainbow family gathering that night or this weekend, and they were all up at Old Skeeple as well. So anyways, we had the 8-8 event, which I will get to, but from Thursday night till Monday morning, we rented an Airbnb and had people that love the Megillah staying with us. That was kind of the stipulation of getting access into it, because a lot of people are curious, but we only really wanted people that are already on this path and up to speed with the teachings, at least to some extent, and knowing what we're talking about so that we could go into deeper teachings. We had morning and evening communions planned together. We had different people lead. So kind of how I scheduled it was so I'll just go through what we did. On Thursday night, everyone gathered at the house. We had an opening ceremony to kind of just set the intention and get everybody together. And then we had our first group meal together, which ended up being like rice and lentils and vegetables, and was really, really good. Shout out to Jennifer, or as she's going by her name, Shoshana, for basically taking over the kitchen duties for me the whole time. I really wanted to be able to focus on the other aspects of the gathering and hosting in other ways. So I am really grateful that she basically executed the menu that I gave her really flawlessly, and the food was so good. So yeah, the first night we had the rice and lentils and vegetables, and then to kind of end our evening, we had a priestess Michelle, who is now high priestess, um, lead us in a talk about how our sadhana, our spiritual practice, like the morning and evening communions, the peacetime contemplation, and other things that we are doing for our spiritual practices can be tied to the eight sequential steps of the eight sequential key phases of successful yoga. I think that's what it is. But anyways, the different phases of yoga, or the 8 phases that we talk about, including pranayama, going inside and kind of away from the senses, your yamas and your niyamas, which is like the do's and don'ts. Himsa being one of the do's, the don'ts being like stealing and cheating and lying and all those things. So she went into teaching about how our morning and evening communions can incorporate those practices, including pranayama, like different breathing exercises, the alternating your nostril breathing, the kai breath, different things like that. So that was really awesome. And then to finish off the evening after that discussion of how to kind of incorporate these different phases of yoga into our actual morning and evening communions, she led us in the evening communion, which was really nice. I scheduled it so that different people would lead our morning and evening communion so that we could kind of see how other people do it and really learn from other people, especially Priestess Michelle, who's been around the Holy Megillah for many years, and other people that maybe don't necessarily get an opportunity to speak at day's gathering, because I mean he has his whole list of speakers that have been a part of the church that he knows will deliver the teachings that are in line with the Megillah, and something that he can kind of support with church people doing it. A lot of the people that did come to the gathering were just from our church, which was really awesome. Usually I'm going up to Florence to see them, and I'm standing in our Airbnb, like getting some dinner ready. And all of a sudden, like Sarah and Mandy and Mary Ellen and Michelle from church are like walking up to the door. I'm like, wow, this is so interesting, and like kind of a little bit weird in a nice way to see them in Mount Shasta. Like, I'm just not used to that, but it was really cool because for a lot of people, it was their first time in Mount Shasta. So not only did I schedule the teachings, but the next day on Friday morning, we got up and we got to learn how to do the Hatha Yoga. Priestess Sarah led us in Hatha Yoga, which I've showed to you before. Yahshua's yoga flow, his Hatha Yoga routine. So she led us in that, which is really nice to actually have dedicated time with people to go through every single step and really incorporate all of the different breathing, at least to some extent. The breathing that Yahshua prescribes is often, the whole idea of the Hatha Yoga routine is to get into a state for meditation. So sometimes you're holding a pose for like 100 breaths, which can be a very long time. So some of them were shortened, but we did get through the whole list of the yoga routine. And then she gave us a nice talk about how vagus nerve health is actually related to the Hatha Yoga routine, and really just how it can affect so many different aspects of our life, and how those specific yoga positions, asanas that we do in the Hatha Yoga routine support vagus nerve health. So that was really cool to learn that. But for that morning communion, Dave led us in the morning communion. And then after that, we sang Unto Zion, and we headed up Mount Shasta to go all the way to Old Ski Bowl. I really wanted people, especially since it was their first time, to get to see what Mount Shasta is about and go to various little like sacred spots and different things like that. So we went up to Mount Shasta all the way up at Old Ski Bowl, and we set up the Southern Oregon animal activist group that is no longer together donated to the Shasta vegan community a pop-up canopy tent and a whole bunch of different things. Like they had sorry for the little rabbit hole, but they gave us the Shasta vegan community a bunch of literature, and also they had a collection of different devices that are used by farmers for what they do to animals. So yeah, and they gave us some documentary footage and a bunch of different things like that for teaching. So maybe at the farmers market we will be able to implement some of those things. But anyways, thank you to them for the canopy tent. The long story long, we took the canopy tent up there and set it up so that people could have shade. We had multiple different people lead us in songs, and we got to sing Unto Zion. For those of you who don't know the song, I play it on here before. You can look it up. It's by Manica, Manaka, I believe. And basically, Jah is our salvation, here to teach all nations that when we choose to unite as one, I tell you truly, all freedom will come. So open up your hearts and receive the healing of the Almighty. Clean hands and a heart so pure. Unto Zion we go. And then it just kind of repeats that and has like this really nice heartbeat, drum beat going on. So we did that as a group up at the top of Mount Shasta, which was really, really cool. Yeah, and had some words of wisdom from various people. We ate lunch, and then we went down to Panther Meadows, where a group of people, not everyone, went on the little hike to the sacred spring there. It was really, really busy. By the time I got like almost to where the actual spring was, there was just so many people. For me personally, I'm like, I'll just go back. You guys can go ahead. And, the rest of the group still wanted to go. And so Dave ended up taking them the rest of the way, which I was grateful for, because on my way back, I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't walk any further because it is hot and I am tired. So yeah, that was a really nice experience. After that, this is all still happening on Friday. We went to Soul Connections. They have a community center room upstairs that I rented out and paid a friend, Lauren Barker. Shout out to Lauren. Thank you so much, for a sound healing journey. And so we all, got off Mount Shasta, went down to Soul Connections. Some people went in there and shopped. But then we went to the sound healing, and it was really, really interesting. She had a handful of different instruments, that some of which I've never seen before. Like, I think one was called a celestial gong or chime or something like that. But it was a ladder of different, I think they were cylindrical pipes, right? And she was able to twist it back and forth. Anyways, really cool stuff. And she walked around the whole room and played the instruments kind of above each one of us so that we could actually feel the energy of that instrument, which was really, really cool experience. People really enjoyed that. So yeah, we went back to the house after that to prepare for dinner, which was spaghetti and tofu parmesan with salad. And I made homemade rolls for that as well. I made homemade bread for like the whole weekend. For the days at lunchtime, we usually had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or whatever leftovers that people wanted. But for the evening meals, I really tried to plan really tasty things. So yeah, the first night we had the rice and the vegetables and stuff. The second night we had spaghetti and tofu parmesan. The third night was the 8-8 event, and we did a taco bar just so that it would be really simple and easy to not only make, but for people to get through the line and eat and everything like that. The next night we had, oh man, mashed potatoes and mushroom stroganoff, and it was so good. Everything was vegan, and man, Jennifer really hit a home run with that. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to pull off stroganoff. I knew when I put that on the list that it was a little bit more of a complicated dish, but it ended up being so good. I think she ended up using coconut yogurt and obviously vegan butter and maybe oat milk or something like that. And man, it was so, so good. So on the second night, still back to the non-food. Oh yeah, after dinner, Brother Phoenix had some time to share with us about whatever. Basically, I told people that they could kind of, I said, is there anything that is related to the Holy Megillah that you would like to teach us about or share with us or something like that? And so everyone kind of got to decide what they wanted it to bring to the table. And um, he played some music for us. He has various instruments and has written songs on flute and the hand pan, the harmonium. Yeah, and then was also talking about our. I'm trying to think of what the. It's funny because unfortunately his talk kind of got squished in at the end. His opener was a little bit longer about other things, and then I can see the board in my head, but I cannot remember at the moment what it said. Okay, anyways, I'll come back to that if I remember. And then who led? Oh, he ended up just leading the nightly communion as well. And it was interesting because he was talking about how every day is corresponding with a different note of the scale. And so I think he was saying that that day was like B flat or something. And so he got out his harmonium and actually went through the whole communion, like the words of opening and the Nasrian prayer of reverence, the prayer to Enoch, and the note that he would play when he would sing this harmonium was the same note that just try to get into alignment with that frequency. So that was a really interesting thing that he does for his own contemplations and communions on a daily basis. The next morning, which was 8/8, was also the Sabbath. So I was supposed to lead the morning communion, but I asked Priestess Michelle to because she does some special things on the Sabbath, including reading the prayer to the Lamb and the Dove. That's not exactly called that, but we're supposed to pray it when we get together. And it usually doesn't, but man, it was really cool to have for all of the different communions and contemplations that we did, to have a whole room of people actually saying the Nasrian prayer of reverence and the prayer to Enoch together in unison. Like everyone in the room actually knows it, and we're actually on the same page here. It's not, beginners and people that are like not committed. So that was really, really cool. Priestess Michelle also on Sabbath shared that she will read the 10 Commandments and kind of renew herself in those and kind of take some time to examine the yamas and niyamas and kind of just seeing how to better implement those things into her life during that time. Since Sabbath is supposed to be a day of worship, she goes above and beyond what normally you do during the week. And so I wanted her to lead it. So that was really cool. And after that, we went to Shasta's Park, and Miria spoke on the power of manifestation, using your words wisely to manifest. Some of those seeds are that we plant with our thoughts, words, and deeds take a while to grow into whatever consequence, good or bad, but some are immediate. And one thing that she really said that's kind of stuck with me, she was just talking about how the body is forgiving. The body can hear us. And basically what I took from it, I guess I don't remember the exact quote that she said, but what really stuck with me was the fact that our bodies are self-healing machines, and that healing is forgiveness. Our body forgives us, right? We're drinking things or eating things that we shouldn't, and the fact that our body still is trying to heal us is an act of forgiveness. And that's really, really special in the light of the fact that Yah, God and Goddess, the whatever you want to call, you know, whoever you pray to, the true God and Goddess are so forgiving, and we are made in their image and likeness of that holy creative Trinity. We are that. And like, it's just so cool how that ties in with our body itself forgiving us, because it's made in their image and it forgives us. It loves us. It has compassion for us. Even though so many of us spend our life eating garbage, eating animal products and animal flesh and, junk food and all of these different things, we still get so many years. Like, realistically, it's actually crazy how diminished our lifespan can be, thinking about how long the people in former years were able to live. Like, Simcha was like 340 something, I think, and other Nasserean founding fathers and mothers, these great inspirations that we hear about, like hundreds and hundreds of years old. That means that the mature, like the aging process is so drawn out. So you get to like your 20s and you're in that young, youthful state for, 40 plus years. It ages really slowly. And yeah. Anyways, back to the thing. Yeah, our bodies are forgiving and they're just made in their image. It's just so, so special to me. So I really love that. Hey, Dave. Dave says that chanting and singing together so much was such a powerful, uplifting vibe. It definitely was, especially the last night, which was Sunday night, and I'll get to that in a second. But we basically decided to rearrange the schedule to have some music time, and so everyone was gathered in the living room playing music, and I'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, it was really, really awesome. After Shasta's Park, I did say a few words, and we took a few moments to really try to manifest the planting of the seeds of the Megillah in the Nasserean way in Mount Shasta, because it was 8/8 and we're getting ready to go into the public event. I kind of kept my talk short and sweet because I only had a limited amount of time to get everything else ready for the actual public event. And thankfully I did, because I basically ended up having to run all the way to Weed to the store. And then, like, so many things, it felt like a lot of things were already done, but we were all still kind of rushing a little bit. And then the space that we rented, the person that was supposed to help let us in didn't get there until like maybe half an hour before the doors were supposed to open. And so that alone made everything really flustered, because we had to go in and set up tables and chairs. Dave had to make sure that the sound and the visual stuff was all running properly, microphones and all that kind of stuff. And on top of it, it was extremely hot in there. We didn't have any time really to get the air conditioning running and it cooled down before a lot of people started coming in and running around and trying to put the tables together, and just organized chaos. Thankfully, the night did go smoothly, although it was actually like the hottest day, I think, that we've had all year, and of this that's going to be happening this summer. So it ended up being really hot, and I think some people we had around 50 people RSVP for the 8/8 event, which was really, really cool, and kind of a little bit surprising in that it's a niche religious gathering, and there's so much else going on 8/8 as well. So what we had to compete with, on top of being an actual religious gathering, not just spiritual, where everyone is just yeah, there's obviously a difference between the spiritual gatherings that they have here in Mount Shasta, where people from every religion feel that they can come, and something that is so specifically focused on the Nazarene Bible and the Nazarene way. So I was really excited for all the people that did end up coming and braving the heat. I think there was at least 30 people there. Some people came and like they left after a little while, which I don't really blame them, because like I said, it was really hot. If I didn't, if I hadn't, been involved, I'd been like, I think I might go home. It's really hot. But yeah, it was a really great time, and we got to meet a lot of people and to plant some seeds. People were really appreciative of the fact that we hosted this gathering in general, that people came from different parts of California, even Colorado, different places, to um, to be with us. So it was really cool. One of the first things that I asked everyone was who would be interested in a monthly church service here in Mount Shasta. And many hands shot up. And I'm really excited about that, because it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, to start a church, as many of you already know. And at first, it was an Essene church, and then I started to get involved with a Buddhist group, and so that kind of opened me up to the fact that all religions. I already knew that all religions had a lot in common, but this specifically opened me up to the fact that all religions have teachings on kindness to animals. So I was then thinking about having a church that was based, basically a vegan church that would incorporate all different religions and have anybody that wants to share the truth from their religion, but all coming together under, compassion for animals and the actual truth, because every different religion has truth in it, but also mixed with a bunch of different stuff from the serpent priesthood that divides us, that gives us false beliefs, which can, clog up our our chakra system, the Nahara, that river of light that comes into us. Having false beliefs, as Xander talked to us about on Sunday, can cloud up and essentially put dams or blocks in that river of life that will prevent us from being able to see clearly, prevent those chakras from being able to perform their duties properly. Anyways, though, back to the 8/8 event. That was really, really special that day, and High Priest Day and High Priestess Therese both came from their homes multiple hours to join us and to give speeches and, yeah, to fellowship with us. I was really excited that Priestess Therese was able to stay from the 8/8 gathering until Monday morning for the rest of the time with us. It was really, really special to get to spend extra time with her, especially outside of Day's gathering, where she is like having to help organize and keep everything, all the stuff, that the responsibilities that she had there. After the 8/8, the public event where she gave her speech, she was just on vacation. So it was really cool to have her spend that time with us. Um, yeah, so Day's speech at the end of the night was great, and he did go a little bit later than his allotted time schedule. He wanted two song circles, one before and one after, and um, so his original starting time was 8 o'clock, and then he said he wanted the two song circles. So I was like, okay, we'll have to get you in even earlier then, because we only have the space rental until 9. I think we were out by 9:45, but we were definitely pushing it with the time restraint getting out of there, and especially because people wanted to talk and socialize after. So it was a nice learning experience for the next time around, to on so many different levels, not just with the 8/8 event, the public portion of it, and how to better to better accommodate for the crowd and draw them in and keep them. But also for the private event going forward, what that could look like, because a lot of people were very, very interested in that becoming a thing as well. So yeah, we'll see what the future holds. For sure, I definitely enjoyed it. It was stressful, but part of that stress was having it being my first time and not knowing what to expect, not not really having ever planned a retreat. Now I'm responsible for all of these people, and then, you know, more people just kept wanting to come as well, and I just kept saying yes. It was hard to say no, especially when people love the Megillah, and it's like I don't know, just, I was gonna say a one-time thing, but for it probably won't be, because everyone really loved it. So yeah, we ended up having a few more people than were supposed to be staying with us. But as I kind of mentioned before in like my last video, it reminded me of a birthday that I had in middle school where my mom said I could invite anybody that I wanted, and I invited like the whole school. It was a smaller school, but I had people from my sister's grade, which was, maybe ninth, or I don't know. Actually, I don't know what grade. She might have been in eighth grade. From eighth grade, because that was as high as the school went, I think. Eighth grade to preschool, just having all of these people in our house, all these girls just running around. And yeah, I think my dad and brother ended up going out to sleep in the garage that night. But anyways, it just reminded me of that because I had a hard time saying no. But again, these are people that love the Megillah, and how can you say no to that kind of family gathering? It was just so cool. So yeah, that takes us to the end of 8/8, where some people, myself included, crazy, after that whole day of chaos and multiple days of less sleep than we should get, decided to go up on Mount Shasta to check out 8/8. It's, like I said, the Christmas of Mount Shasta, essentially. It's really hard to even find a parking spot up the mountain. Once you start going around the corners, you're like, oh, there's the end of the parking spots, because they start lining both sides of the road at the top. So yeah, we went up there, and there were a ton of people, and there was this like propane fire pit or something. I didn't really even get a chance to see what it completely was. It was like a bowl, maybe. But shortly after me and a few others got there, they basically started to try to light a real fire, and we had some kindling that Dave grabbed and helped light the fire. So basically we got to go up and light the fire, and my original plan was for us to have the fire like that, and to have Day go up there, and we could get the audience's attention and say a few words around this big fire at the top of Mount Shasta with a gorgeous, gorgeous sky. Man, the stars that night were so, so beautiful. But he was too tired and is having a little bit of trouble sleeping away from home, which is understandable. I'm not sure that I could have slept in the Airbnb. I'm so grateful that my apartment right here is literally 2 or 3 minutes down the road, right around the corner from the Airbnb, which was literally right across the street from the main venue that we did the event at. So all of those things being really close really helped out. But I don't know if I could have slept in that house because there were just so many people, and I'm a light sleeper, and so people getting up and making noise and all of those kinds of things would have kept me up as well. So I'm not surprised that he wasn't able to sleep and didn't necessarily want to go on Mount Shasta, but he ended up leaving the next morning, and everyone thankfully made it home into their next destination. But the next day was Sunday, and Sunday morning, Priestess Michelle talked to us about turning our sevenfold peace contemplations, which is what we do here every noontime. Well, not every noontime, but I try to, and I was for a while really good at being on that while I was not having events going on. But the noontime peace contemplation, turning that into a peace revolution and actually being peace, teaching peace to the world, different things and different ideas that she has to even create a workbook type or a program type thing that will help people develop more peace in different aspects of our lives that are related to the peace contemplation. So that was really nice. And after that, appropriately, we went to the Peace Garden to have personal meditation and kind of time to integrate the peace lessons that we just learned at the Peace Garden. And it was really nice because I've only been there like one time before, and I didn't know that at one point they actually have little prayer ties, which are little pieces of fabric strips that have been cut, and people will write with a marker their prayer or their like a scripture or a nice message or anything really that you want to say, and tie it to one of the trees in the prayer garden. So you go in there and there's just these prayer ties everywhere. Like it's a lot. But I got to finally hang up my own. And so that was cool. I think what I wrote, well, I don't think, I do think, hold on. What I ended up writing on mine was, hold on one second. All beings. I got to search my handy dandy Megillah so that I can share with you the verse. The mantra of the Christ family. Let there be ever-expanding well-being for all beings in the highest love, now and forever. Amen. This realization that's the part that I wrote, but this realization is the magic key to the highest heavens. The realization of our true holy work. Cool. So after the Peace Garden, we actually went to the front of the Peace Garden and had our peace meditation for the day, our peace contemplation as a group, which Phoenix led. And it was kind of cool because he had us go around the group and basically say what kind of came to us during that contemplation. It was a contemplation with the body. And so we sat there for a little bit in silence and contemplated peace with the body. And then everyone went around and got to say what they were thinking about or what came to them during that contemplation. And so it was really cool to get everyone's insight. People that don't normally stand up and give a speech or something were able to contribute to the group discussion. And actually it was really cool too, because during the other teachings, we also kind of had that open format where the speaker would ask the audience something, or the audience member might be able to put their hand up and say something that was related to what the speaker was saying. So it was very back and forth and open to group discussion and stuff like that, which was really, really cool. Yeah. So after the peace contemplation, we went back to the house for, we were going to go over to the drum circle at Mount Shasta City Park, but it ended up being really hot. So basically we had some free time for a while some people did go to the drum circle, but others of us didn't. I had to go shopping for mashed potatoes because that night we had the mashed potato stroganoff. So I was focused on getting the next thing ready, getting our stroganoff, helping get Jennifer the ingredients that she needed to make us that delicious meal. So that's what I did. And then Brother Xander gave us a cool talk on the chakra systems and how our daily contemplations and those words of power, the sounds of power that we do with each branch or root force, actually help to clear your chakras and get them running smoothly how they're supposed to, so that Nahar Nahara, the river of light that is coming into all of our crowns, is able to go down to the root chakra. Heaven comes down to earth, and then we can bring it back up to the sky. That is the Kai breath that we learn is pulling the energy, or accepting the energy that is coming down, and then it goes down to your root chakra through all the different chakras, and then it comes back up. So it's kind of very Naserian in that we're bringing heaven to earth and taking it back up with us. We're not, it's different than the, like, growing up mainstream Christian where, oh, heaven's our home, we got to get out of here. It's this escape mentality of not wanting to be here, as opposed to we're coming here to help and fix the place and make it better than when we got here. I really love that. So it was really nice to hear about the chakras and get to ask different questions. Dave was asking questions back and forth to get him to kind of talk a little bit more and share more knowledge with him, because the people that got to talk normally aren't given a platform to talk. And so it was really cool to have different people's wisdom shared with us throughout the whole week. Yeah. And then after that, Miria had a few more words about manifestation to say, so we gave her a little bit more time. She was talking about the word abracadabra, which we hear about in the Holy Megillah, which is, in this story, they are these Alephim ships. They're magically empowered, and basically they were standing on, a group of them was standing on the shoreline, and someone was like, hey, can you see that shimmering thing out in the distance? And they were not able to see it until they used the word abracadabra, and that was able to bring to their vision what they were not able to previously see. She was bringing this up in the context of that she had recently been to a waterfall and experienced this sensation that she thought that she felt another being from another realm, but she wasn't able to see it. And she's like, I wish I could, essentially go back and say this, but whenever you feel that kind of sensation or anything, you can always say abracadabra to help reveal what has been hidden in different situations. So after that, I gave a very short talk on being the hands and feet of Christ. By this time, I was exhausted. So I have also learned that I need to speak on like the first day so that I can get that out of the way and then just worry about everything else rather than doing everything and then having my talk on the last day where I'm like, I'm tired at this point. I've had to deal with a lot of different things and I don't really want to deal with anymore. And so, yeah. But the things that I did say had to do with, again, being the hands and feet of Christ and how much the teachings of the Star of Compassion and Butterfly School have really changed me. How much the influence of Miriam has changed me. Like the story of her, especially interacting with Peter. Peter was, like I said in my talk, Peter was a real piece of work. And he was very disrespectful to Miriam. At one point, he was like, anytime that you speak, you are taking away the opportunity for a man to speak, or, just being disrespectful to her. And it never knocked her off of balance. It never made her mean. She never said anything mean back to him. She wasn't fazed by it. She didn't take it personally. She just understood that he was where he is on that ladder of spiritual evolution or ascension, whatever you'd like to call it. And she was able to forgive him and still love him without getting knocked off balance. And that's really what stands out to me the most, because when someone attacks me, I get triggered, right? And I might be able to hide that trigger on the outside, but on the inside, I'm getting upset, right? Because you take it personally. You're involved yourself. But part of being the hands and feet of Christ is taking that ego out of it and not being offended. It's like, I'm here to show love to others. So regardless of how they treat me, I have to be loving and kind, because that's who we all are. We all came from love and that compassion. We've just lost our way and we've been hurt and damaged in different ways that we're all trying to heal from. But love is ultimately where we came from and what we are. And if you're actively claiming, or wanting to be the hands and feet of Christ, taking your own personal self and your own feelings, your own ego out of it is really important, so that you don't you don't take things personally when people attack you. You understand where they're coming from and you forgive them, you love them. You show grace and compassion. You don't return mean words for mean words. You just show kindness and love. So no need to draw all of that out very long to have a whole half-hour talk. Then we had our final dinner, which was the mashed potatoes and the stroganoff, the mushroom stroganoff, which was so, so good. And the night ended with a really fun jam session that I think we do have some of the recordings from that. So in the future, I might release some of those things. We'll see what I feel called to release publicly. But yeah, it was really, really cool to have that experience and even to play like some of our praise and worship songs that Blair Francis has wrote live and have this whole group of people just singing praise. I think at one point we were getting ready to sing this song and Dave is like, do you guys want to praise Jaja? And everyone laughs. And it's just like funny because like we're all Megillah lovers here. So yes, of course, you asked that to the right audience, like, let's go. And it was just really high vibe and fun. And yeah, it was a really, really good time. So I'm grateful that we ended up doing that. And even just having more time to fellowship with each other instead of having like back-to-back talks, which some things do that. When those of us that were planning were kind of deciding on what we were going to do, it was mainly just me and Dave because I was asking his opinion. He has to basically help me with so much of the stuff. So we were basically talking about it and not wanting it to be like just go, 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 go the whole time and just full of activities that becomes really stressful. We wanted more of a yin retreat where we can kind of relax and just everyone can get to know each other and spend time as lovers of the Megillah. And that is what happened. So it was really, really, really good time. So hopefully that will be a tradition that continues during the 8/8 event that was public. Day did basically like say that this was the first Nasrian Lions gathering and, you know, implying that there are going to be many more and was very approving of the starting of the church here in Mount Shasta. So I'm really excited about that. And all the things that the future holds. It's going to be a fun ride to see what happens and what seeds come to fruition as beautiful blossoming trees. I'm really excited about that and to be able to organize more things and to help spread the teachings of Lord and Lady Christ. That being said, I think that takes us to the end of the retreat. Yeah, on Monday morning, we basically just had a little closing circle. We sang a few songs and danced around and then ended up packing up everything and going home. Everyone got home safely and really, really grateful for everyone that got to come out and for all of you people that were not able to come out for all of the prayers and support and kind wishes, well wishes for everything to go well. I know that a lot of people wish that they could have come, but other circumstances prevented them, yet they wished us well and sent happy thoughts our way. Thank you so much for that. I am in pretty much almost done with the slides for the next chapter, finally, of the Holy Megillah. So maybe tomorrow I'm going to be reading that and then we'll continue forward because right now I don't have anything to plan for. So I'm really excited to have a little bit of downtime and get through some of these readings so that especially those of you who don't have access to the physical copy can see what these great teachings are. I really love the Holy Megillah and all the light and insight that it has brought into my life, the change that has happened in me and around me that has made everything better. So I hope that you have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow. May God and the Goddess bless you.